Do you ever feel like you are drowning in clutter? After years of decluttering our own home and countless clients later, we have seen firsthand how much stuff comes into our lives every year. So I recently did an experiment where I tracked everything that came into our home over 30 days. I'm gonna show you everything that came in and the 4 key lessons that I learned over these 30 days. I want this video to inspire you to become mindful of where maybe some of your clutter is coming from and share some fast, easy ways to manage that stuff without ending up feeling like you're drowning in stuff. All right, to keep things easy, I have broken all of the items into 4 main categories. I will show you the total of everything at the very end of the video. I'm gonna start by sharing the items that we actually purchased ourselves, which I think was the second smallest category of the month. My husband, Scott, still plays hockey a couple of times a week, and recently he mentioned how his skates kill his feet. They're super uncomfortable. So after a few weeks of doing some research and trying a bunch on, he finally found a pair that he absolutely loved. So we went ahead and purchased those, and those were the first purchase of the month. We also went ahead and purchased 2 new tubes of just like white classic glue, which we use for all of our crafting and creating with the kids. Something that is not in fashion anymore but I still do is I use a paper planner. I have a digital calendar for a lot of my client work, but for day-to-day, I just love having a paper planner. And because it's near the end of the year, I went ahead and purchased myself a new one for 2026. As you guys know, 90% of our kids' clothes are hand-me-downs, and we love that. However, the odd time, we'll have to top up our kids' wardrobes. And recently we had to get our youngest, Annie Rose, who's 7, we had to get her a few new things. So I think we bought 4 pairs of pants, and I think there was 2 sweatshirts and 1 pack of socks. These are basically just to replace items that were so wholly or in terrible condition and just like beyond repair. And I think we got everything was secondhand except the socks, which we bought brand new. She also needed a pair of winter boots for this new winter season, and we found those on Facebook Marketplace. My husband, Scott, is pretty low-key when it comes to organizing his stuff. Like, he's decent, but he's not type A until it comes to his sports equipment. And he loves keeping it organized, and up until now, he's been able to just utilize, like in our unfinished part of our basement, he just kind of uses hooks on the wall and that kind of thing. However, recently, he's also started to manage Leo, our oldest, he's 9. He started to play hockey, so he has all of his hockey equipment to deal with. And so he recently treated himself to I think they just call them a hockey tree. It's basically just like a metal thing that they hang all the equipment on to dry. And Scott went ahead and even added like his own little clips to it. And he's very excited about it and in love with it. He bought it on Facebook Marketplace, and I think it was $10. This month, we also bought a bunch of party supplies for Leo's 9th birthday party. Long story short, we didn't end up using a lot of them. The party was at a local bowling alley, and so we had a bunch of leftover stuff. So we had a couple of tablecloths. I think there were some plates, some napkins, and even a pack of bouncy balls that I think we'd purchased to use in treat bags but didn't end up needing. So for right now, all of that stuff ended up just going into our party bin in our kitchen. This month, I also got a gift card for a friend as a congratulations for something. And so I wanted a blank greeting card to use in it, which I had run out of. And I use a ton of blank cards every month. So I ended up just grabbing a pack of 20. And on the very last day of our challenge, I really wanted to find some candles at the thrift store. I didn't end up finding them. However, I had both of the kids with me. I think this might have been a Sunday, and they ended up bringing their own money. And so if you know you have 2 kids with their own money at the thrift shop, they're probably going to end up getting something. So we brought home 5 items. The first one was something I chose, and it was a couple little Christmas garland, like fabric garlands, which were 50 cents each, I think, and they were extremely cute. Leo ended up getting a stuffed animal named Tom, a little bear, which he's crazy about. And he also got a phone. We don't have a landline in our house. However, he just loves the idea of using this like for plain store office or something. And then Annie Rose got a pretend like play cash register, and she got a little Christmas scene decor thing to put up in the house for decoration. So total number of purchases for the month was 27 items. If you watch all my videos, you've probably seen that I've done this experiment before. And over the years, I find that I learn something new every single time. And I've recently started to recognize that almost every item that comes into our house, especially items we've purchased, are to replace something we already had. So an easy way to maintain a clutter-free environment is that when that new item comes in, to simply get rid of the item it's been replaced. So for example, this month when Scott bought his brand brand new skates. He was able to sell his old skates, I think within 24 hours. Or when we brought in the brand new white glue, I knew it was replacing these really terrible glue sticks I'd bought, like I think at the dollar store, that just did not work at all. So those ones went directly into the garbage. So this is just that 1 in, 1 out rule. Next up is a category that we have way less control over. I've become very aware over the last few years that so much of our incoming happens during special occasions. So Christmas, birthdays, Halloween, any type of vacation. And this particular month fell over Leo's 9th birthday and Halloween. In the past, for Leo's birthday, I've had either experience gifts, like we just do something together as a family, or just a family party. However, this year he really wanted a traditional like friend party with his friends from school. And I get it. Like I find it difficult to say no every year to a birthday party when he gets to go to so many birthday parties for his friends and watch them open all of their gifts and look at all these brand new toys they got. So that's what we did this year, and at that party, he got a total of 12 birthday gifts. It included a remote control helicopter. There was this random green squishy thing that he was obsessed with for about 4 days, but unfortunately it got a massive hole in it, and now it's just garbage. There was a Lego car that he put together within 24 hours and really loved that. He got a couple of books, a couple of gift cards. There was a board game, which I was actually most excited about. He got a couple of signed Bobby Orr photos. He got a little tiny blue stuffy, which again is randomly one of his favorite items. He got a sweatshirt. And then one of the big things he got was he bought for himself. He asked for cash from his family, and he bought himself a secondhand PlayStation, which he was very excited about. And we've never had like a game console or anything like that before, but he's played it at his friend's house. So he's very excited about that. The one thing we do when the kids have like a traditional birthday party like that with their friends is we don't get them a gift. They don't get anything from us. The party is the gift from us, and they never question it. Honestly, they know that they don't need anything else because they've been showered with gifts at their party. The other 2 small gifts that we received this month were all from grandparents. Surprise, surprise. The first thing is that every fall, Scott's parents bring over a pair of like kind of Christmas pajamas or winter pajamas for the kids to have over the holidays. And then the last item was actually a Halloween puzzle that my mom dropped off for the kids. And I think she brought it over when everyone came over for Thanksgiving. It's actually very cute, and the kids have played with it a bunch of times. So total number of gifts were 15. Now, there were also 8 gift bags and 11 cards, which I didn't count towards our total number of things. However, I really truly think that they are worth mentioning because those are often the kinds of small, seemingly innocent things that add so much clutter and stress to a house. And when I reflected on gifts this month, I've realized I've learned something new, and that is that it's kind of okay to have some things coming in. If I think about a lot of like the environmentalists that I follow on social media, and for a long time, everyone was really into like zero waste, zero waste, zero waste. A lot of those people have come to that point where like zero waste is pretty much near impossible. So let's maybe take it, scale it back, and focus on low waste. The exact same thing is with decluttering and clutter and stuff. It's going to be basically impossible to have nothing coming into our house every month, including gifts. And I know when I first started decluttering and I was so overwhelmed with stuff, I didn't want a single thing coming in. Every single item that came in would just stress me out, including gifts. But now with practice and experience, and because our house is now become that lighter space, that when gifts come in, I can actually enjoy them now. When Scott's parents want to randomly stop over and give the kids pajamas, it doesn't drive me crazy. It's like I can actually sit back and enjoy it and be grateful for that. And this isn't an excuse to go crazy and overconsume and live in chaos, but more just kind of permission to enjoy the physical things that we love without feeling like we're drowning in clutter. And I have found that this really just gets easier with experience and practice. Next up was sort of gifts too, but sort of not, and it was our largest category. In addition to the traditional gifts that we receive, we are also very lucky to live around a lot of friends and family who know that we, like secondhand things, and we like low waste, and we like reusing. And so we get a lot of kind of things gifted to us, or like hand-me-downs passed on, which is so generous, and I never want it to end. However, it is a lot to manage and it takes practice. And some of this free stuff isn't just hand-me-downs. This first item, I cannot blame anyone except myself. I needed a couple of totes for a new organizing project I'm working on for our house, and I was snooping around Marketplace to see what they had. One thing led to another, and a lovely person named Beverly offered me 4 totes for free. Now, I didn't need 4 totes, I only needed 2 totes. However, I knew she just wanted these out of her house. She was moving, and I totally get it. So, and when you're getting something for free, I feel like you can't be picky. So I picked up all 4 bins, and I haven't decided what I'm doing with them yet, but stay tuned for that. Scott is obsessed with the Montreal Canadiens hockey team, and I don't understand it, but he has some random app where I think he does trivia and things like this, all about the Montreal Canadiens, and I don't think actually any money is transferred. However, he eventually will get enough points from all this betting, and every couple of years, that means a random Montreal Canadiens freebie enters our house. And this month, it was a very ginormous coffee mug, which he loves. Next up was our group of hand-me-downs for this month, which was all kids' clothes, and which was like way more than normal. I counted it was a total of 36 items. Yes, we do get a lot of hand-me-downs, but yes, this is a lot for us within 30 days. Luckily, I have a good system of what to do with all of these, and I do share in a future video what I ended up doing with them, but as of right now, these were all free incoming items to our house. We also got 3 new free books from a little free library. Scott was actually at a meeting at a building where they had this little free library, and he saw these books that he knew the kids would love, so he brought them home from work one day to surprise the kids, which was great and fine. In our public library, there's also like a little tiny bookshop at the front, and every Saturday the kids can get a free book there, and I usually try to avoid it. However, this particular time Leo was with me and he found a book that was like this Man vs. Wild, which I think is a TV show. I forget how, but he loves this guy, and so he's really pumped about this book, so that's what he grabbed as well. Next up was a big old pile of free kid loot bag stuff. So this is stuff that's from birthday parties, Halloween loot bags, dentist office freebies, school. I think I counted around 30 tiny toys. So like this includes stickers, gadgets, weird random squishy things. They're all very tiny, but there's usually a lot of them, and this month was no exception. Last item in this category, my best friend's son is exactly 1 year older than Leo. And so he just turned 10 for his birthday, and she had a bunch of leftover party supplies specifically for a 10th birthday. So she gave them to me, which I will just put into our party supplies, and we'll use them for Leo's birthday next year when he turns 10. I think the theme was like peace out single digits, which he thought was so hilarious and cool. So that is our biggest category with 80 items total. A lot of people suggest just say no to free stuff, and I do get that. However, I personally know I find that really difficult. If you have a friend that, you know, has gone out of her way to bring over a couple of magazines that she knows you would love, or if you're the dentist offers your kids a free toy after they've had their teeth cleaned, like I find that really personally in real life really difficult to say no to. However, having systems for all of these kind of normal standard categories that come in every single month is what has saved us from drowning in random free things that we get. So we know donations go into our donation station. We have a specific spot in our kitchen cupboard for like little baggies that I know I like to reuse from that the kids get with free stuff, or our party supplies go into the party box in a specific cupboard in our kitchen. Hand-me-downs go into each of the kids' bins that we pull out when they move up a size. Books go into our book baskets. Toothbrushes go into our little bin for dental backstock, on and on and on. We get the same stuff almost all the time, and so we have a spot for all of it to go. A place for everything and everything in its place. Last category is next, and it's one that we see clients struggle with every single week. Remember when we thought the internet was going to make the world paperless? It has not happened yet. However, I do think there is a lot less paper. However, this is still something we see people struggle with every month. In our current situation, in our phase, we have sort of 3 types of paperwork that come in. We have sort of household paperwork, so like our household bills, things like that. We have school paperwork and school crafts that the kids come in, and then we also have work paperwork for both of us. I did not count every slice of paper. However, I also find this is pretty average. Like I would say we would just get like a stack like this pretty much every month. And I deal with this with 2 main strategies. One is I try to get rid of things as soon as they come in if I know I don't need them. Any flyers or any junk newspaper that we get that I don't need, that is like I try not to even put it down. That instantly goes. Any envelopes that come with our bills, if I don't need them, if I'm not gonna use them for something, they go into the recycle. Like that stuff I instantly get rid of. If their kids bring home like a math worksheet they did that I can see, yes, I love to look at it for 1 second, love to see what they're up to, but that's not a keeper and that goes straight into recycle. Strategy number 2 is that I have really lazy systems basically for anything that's keep. So I don't have a really detailed filing system that I have to like reset every morning and I have to put everything right away. It's pretty lazy. It's organized, but lazy. So I know that there's one spot where all of the key paperwork can go. I know if I have an action item, it goes into my paper agenda, or if it's for both of us, it can go in our stuff basket for us to deal with. I know kids crafts and kids stuff, if it's cute, if it's something extra cute, it goes on the mantle. And then when we're sick of looking at the mantle, I have a box downstairs to put it. And for people who are overwhelmed with the kids stuff, it doesn't need to be in some like cute little organized thing that you bought off Etsy. It can just be one random box or a small tote where all of the kids stuff goes. It doesn't need to be categorized by grade or category, anything like that. If you can keep a handle on your day-to-day paperwork, you are ahead of the game. I have a video coming up in the new year all about paperwork, because normally that's the time of year that I tackle mine sort of as I'm prepping for tax season. Okay, everyone, so that is a total of 122 items plus paperwork and kids crafts. And I know for a fact I forgot a few things this month, and during this period we also bought multiple Christmas gifts that I did not include here. We also get weekly library books that come into our house we have to manage, and a ton of consumable Halloween treats, which I also didn't include, but I know for a lot of families that itself can be a lot to manage. I think this is the most I've ever tracked so far. Honestly, I still find this borderline scary when I look at it all together, but because of the systems we've created and practice letting go of things, managing our incoming stuff each month has become less of a burden and almost allowed us to pause and be grateful for the stuff we own that makes our lives better or easier or more fun. If you're working on decluttering, check out my decluttering guide for like really easy, down-to-earth, real-life tips, and I will link that in the description box below. And check out my pre-Christmas declutter video, which I will link right here for more inspiration. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you always for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.